folks, and good afternoon. My name is Rich Longo, Flycast Partners, and I'd like to thank you for joining us for our final installment on Ivanti Neurons, the customer experience. Today, we are very fortunate to be joined by SouthStar Bank's very own Jesse Miller. He is here to present how him and his organization have been able to utilize neurons early on, being one of the first customers in their day-to-day IT world. And I am also very happy to present our very own Brenda Puff, one of our account managers, the one who's been working with SouthStar Bank to get Ivanti Neurons up and running, to get the software for them. Our very own Kyle Hamilton and Bobby McCullough, who are both SEs here at Flycast Partners. And they will all be interacting and asking questions of Jesse during our presentation today. Before we get started, though, let me introduce Flycast Partners. Flycast Partners offers best-in-class implementation services and training in IT service management, IT asset management, IT operations management, enterprise service management, and batch processing workloaded automation spaces, all using ITIL best practices. Our professional services team has well over 5,500 professional service engagements on site and remote. Yes, remote, which is very important during these pandemic times. And Flycast Partners has well over 1,100 customers as an organization throughout Canada and the United States. They come back over and over again, and come find out why. I encourage you to reach out to us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. I encourage you to visit our website, flycastpartners.com, and chat with one of our live IT experts Monday through Friday during normal business hours. You can also search out our podcast. You can check out upcoming events, partner events, download information that may be useful to you and your organization. Now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this started on Ivanti Neurons. Folks, today I would like to start it out with Jesse. Jesse, tell us a little bit about what is going on with this Ivanti Neurons thing that has just recently come out. You guys snagged it right off the bat. You're utilizing it already. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Neurons is it's an exciting product. I kind of jumped right into it right away. At least when it came out, it was Ivanti Cloud, and we kind of went through some transformation. It kind of shifted, and we kind of jumped onto it. My account rep and Brenda kind of worked together to help me get connected, got me into a live demo. We got our team, we went through it and tested it out. We put it on a good group of machines at our institution, and we thought it was a great fit for us through the connectors and through the other Ivanti products that we had and what we were looking to expand with. And we knew right away that it was the right fit for us, especially through a lot of the automation and what was going to buy us through the security, and through that we knew the longevity and through where Ivanti was going through.
So how did you guys find out about Ivanti Neurons before everybody else? It seems like you guys had some firsthand knowledge on this stuff and kind of got the jump. I mean, this stuff was just introduced. So how did you get down this rabbit hole before everybody else?
So Brenda and I kind of started working together maybe 2-3 years ago?
Yeah,
2.5 years ago. So I was in a pretty rough spot, and she kind of came in to save the day, and with come out to be like a good, reliable friend now with Nick Gear, who's also amazing. And she let me know about an event that was happening down in Houston. And it was the Houston Roundup with Ivanti, and she's like, "You must come." She was like, I will help get your boss to help let you come. So you've got to come to this thing. So I went down, and Rex McMillan did a whole presentation on Ivanti Cloud. And I'm going to be honest, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Brenda, what is this thing? Nick, what is this? This is not for me. This is not something that, let's stick to the tried and true, what we've got." And then basically from 2019 to 2020 hit, and Brenda got us hooked up on the renewals, and we were excited on the path we were going to. And then I couldn't go to Interchange because everything got canceled with, the zombie apocalypse happened, and, we were stuck at home. And so Interchange went virtual, right? So there's a lot of stuff that I wasn't going to be able to see that now I could see. And there was a big change from Ivanti Cloud from it was to where it was at. And I had this huge gap space of things that I needed to cover with where I was architecturally where I was at to where I was basically shifting to. And I had a need that basically then, which is now Ivanti Cloud, now Neurons, it hit. And I could see it. And then they said, hey, you want a demo? Here's all the people you could easily reach out to. So I basically said, hey, I reached out to the team and I said, hey, this is what I want. I want to get me in it. Let me try it. And then they basically, they've been so great. The product management team out there, they said, hey, all the things that for features even out there, if you want to try something, go ahead and just reach out. You can, if you want to try, you want to demo, give us feedback. They have even this amazing little button at the bottom. They give me your feedback. And I just ate that up, and they were so responsive that I just said, hey, let's even give this even more of a try. The thing that stuck out to me is that it took me about 2 hours to go from they turn around from them giving me my link to get in to being, hey, I'm done. It's set up in 2 hours. And I've never had a product, anything in my experience being in IT, that I am start to finish set up and done in 2 hours. I mean, it took me longer to sign all the paperwork than when I bought my house, than it did for me to complete the setup of Neurons. That's how simple it was for me. And so I kind of kept thinking, well, there's going to be a catch or something, then it was going to be difficult, but it really wasn't. And I kept thinking, okay, so we went in through and I was like, okay, so I'm going to say, what is the first thing I'm going to do to try to get to make this easy for me, to really start getting my return on this. And this is even when I'm just testing. So first thing I did is I took screenshots of things that I saw in Interchange, and I said, immediately I want that. And I went in and it was easy to do. I went in and looked at the connectors that I wanted. I said, I've got EPM connector, go, dump. And it was just walk through, and I just kind of started jumping through it. We were turning up a brand new ISM instance, which Flycast is helping me do. And I kind of said, let's go do that. And then, the AD connector and the Azure AD. And then I kind of jumping through this was so easy, that I kind of started knocking out some of the basic, simple things that give me, to me, what I call actionable intelligence. So I have so much information that was at hand, but I have now this whole change in how we work and things we need to tackle and things that we need to handle. It's like, where's my new actionable intelligence to handle? And this kind of said, how do I, take all this information, munch it all together, and then have it all. And that's what made the change for me. I could actually combine all that stuff together and then have something I can work off of. So that was kind of, for me, the big, easy, why did I kind of jump on that so quickly? That was it. It was a product that I saw, and it wasn't like a demo that you couldn't actually get what you saw right out of the box. I could see it, and it smelled like chicken. It tastes like chicken. And man, it sure as heck was chicken. Can you talk? And I knew. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jesse. I was just going to ask. Can you talk a little bit more specifically about some of the features and things that you saw in there that you immediately saw you could take advantage of, that made you so excited about it and gung ho on it?
Yeah, right off the bat, there were certain things they called about Neurons. So there was the automation, but there was the simple basic things like cleaning up Active Directory, right? So I could see, and we use CDW too for purchasing, and So they have little ways you can do when you do use your connectors. You can say, hey, I want to see and they have these, it's simple, so basic. It's like a little sliding tool. You go in there and they say, hey, if it's in here or not in there or there, and you can just move this around. And then it makes this simple, easy tool that you could say and just do from right off the bat after you put those connectors in. Within 2 hours of being up, I can go in there and I know I can guarantee that to help me go through and I can clean up something as simple as, or it's as complicated as can be with AD with a simple connector. And I know that I can start doing some things that are required for things like we need for our audits and which is required, like getting AD right off the bat cleaned up. And, when you have we are going through right now this year, like a lot of people do equipment changeovers, which is big for us. So if I know I'm decommissioning equipment and I'm putting brand new stuff out there, and just like code for a lot of people, we're ordering 3 times as much stuff that we've ever had before. So helping keep track of that stuff, it made that so simple and attractive to me that like right off the bat, I can see that stuff. Another one was, it's called Edge Intelligence. There's so much stuff that a push of a button, I can see where all of my stuff physically is. So with everybody working from home, if something magically ended up somewhere that I knew it shouldn't be, like, I know a lot of people in Ivanti work in Utah, but if one of my devices ends up in Utah, I'm going to start the question, why is it there? That's something that just gives you that peace of mind that helps me sleep better at night.
Right.
And, failed login attempts, all that kind of fun stuff that's on the edge that we tend to really have at like the data center level, that you don't really tend to have at, like I said, the actionable intel on the device level without spending bukus of bucks. I had it at my fingertips, especially when trying to troubleshoot end user issues. I just had it. And there was the additional remote control abilities, that kind of fun stuff.
So what does all that add up to in terms of a difference in your day, or, from before till now?
So I guess that brings me really into the next thing of the automation piece. It really brought me into, I was able to use a neurons portion to say, I know what my problem issues are. I think everybody really knows if they really pay attention to basically what your real issues are. I was able to use a lot of just the out of the box, the built-in stuff and say, hey, I can predict based upon what we have, basically just the basic if this then this, and use the basic remediation stuff that's built in. If this service doesn't start due to Windows hibernation stuff tends to make stuff go buku, just makes this service restart. So my customers don't have a bad experience, and they end up putting in tickets and then so forth. And then I could put a lot of stuff in the action section. So my entire team that I work with, they can also manually do a lot of stuff, but automate a lot of stuff to just make the devices, I think Ivanti, they call them healing, self-healing, just put a lot of that basic stuff into practice.
Right.
So, that stuff takes care of itself before it would ever even come to me to manually have to deal with that. I was able to get in front of that little by little. I kind of took it like with an experiment of free space on the endpoint. If a machine had a patch that went bukus and would create logs galore, or something, but it would free space, go ahead and run the basic cleanup stuff and clean itself up, basic stuff, and then just kind of experimenting, getting larger, expand it out from that. So
becoming much more proactive.
Absolutely. I always kind of felt like I was I was a firefighter, running around with my fire extinguisher, putting out fires everywhere. And it was very hard to get that peace of mind to be proactive and really getting ahead. I wanted to get off the wheel. I think everybody wants to get off that wheel. And this gives you that opportunity, right? And that, to really say, be proactive, to plan, to get things done. And this really gives you that opportunity to isolate, to know, your environmental variables and conditions and things, and plan out. And, that whole shift left issue of saying, hey, I can now empower people on my team to handle their issues and, give them that authority basically by saying, hey, you know what you're going to deal with, feel free to get ahead of it, get a good night's sleep. Nobody likes having your head pop off your pillow at night, saying, because you're worried about what you're going to walk into the morning. I think we were just talking about how you're always scared of coming back after a 3 or 4 day weekend because of all the junk you're going to deal with. That's terrible. Well, what if it just took care of itself because you were able to slowly get ahead of it? And I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but if you start to slowly build up a solid infrastructure for yourself over time, imagine what you can do getting ahead of over a year. And you can kind of self-evolve some of that stuff. And your team kind of grows as your infrastructure changes. That's a great place to be in. So, and it is changing and it's getting better. We had an audit, an FDIC exam, and another audit, and the security feature that was a big part for me, right? Because I handle all the patching of the endpoints and all that kind of stuff, and Chris Garland's done a fantastic job with that. So they put out basically make it simple, right? It couldn't be any better unless it was a scratch and sniff sticker with these great pie charts, and they say these are everything that came out, and these are all the information on them. It even allows you to put peer comments in if you have an issue with a certain patch, but then it basically breaks it down and says this is your environment and what you have and what you need to take care of, and it tells you based upon this is what you're running out of time on this stuff. But there's the automation fabric broken in. So me being an EPM customer, with that, I'm able to say, hey, when there was, for instance, I had that spot where we had those DNS vulnerabilities that needed taken care of that day. It just so happened that came out, and the auditor asked about that, and they should show up that day. And there was a way for me to go in and check and automate that remediation directly through Neurons. And it goes right in using the EPM connector, and it uses automation fabric. Take care of that right away. But the great part is it gives all the information on what you do to take care of stuff, what you want to do. And it really gives you that peace of mind. So it's not just like a help desk piece, but it's also your security people. But it's also like then you have your sysadmins, but it's like that single pane of glass that your entire team can actually work out of. This is the first place that everybody should be. And where you go to troubleshoot issues for your entire environment is this one tool, since it ties in to literally everything. It doesn't matter what you have. I mean, and things more connectors come out all the time, but this is it. It's really an agnostic management connector. So it's a great place to start. And so we've kind of moved on to more and more stuff with it, but I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, I was also going to ask. You kind of started to answer it there. Is now that you've gone from you're now at this proactive mode where you're able to free up some time, and then that gives you time to sit and think about what else, what's that track look like, or what are y'all thinking about down the road in terms of taking advantage of it more?
Yeah, I mean, that's always the real question, right? So, you finally get to that spot where you're like, okay, I'm here. What do we do? To us, I think the big spot is the higher level of automation through neurons and using those, whether it's through better PowerShell scripts, and that's getting better on us. It's kind of like, packing a lunch. If you put a banana in your lunchbox, that's all you're going to get. But if I get better at making that lunch, that's what it's going to turn out better. So I'm really, with the neurons module, you're only really limited by your imagination and your actual ability. So if you really put your time and effort into it, your limitations, you're really limited. So that's what I'm getting at. And so that's really what we want to get to, is breaking down, tracking through ISM where our problems are, pulling that in, and really saying, let's spend a set amount of time per week or however we really want to do it, and say, okay, let's see if we can fix this problem and free up some more time. And let's get better, and let's get to that next level, right? Let's improve customer satisfaction. And to me, it's not even in that, but it's also, let's get a better quality of life here, right? Let's make life better for ourselves, for our customers, that's our internal customers, for our external customers. Let's make it better. Everything we can do to make life better. There's the efficiency stuff. Yeah, there's the financial stuff, but where's the quality of life? Let's get the quality of life up. Let's get the stress level down. Let's feel better. Let's get the heart palpitations out of this job industry. And let's make our life as amazing as we can by being able to automate and make the endpoints better. And you know what? If our customers forget that we even exist because they don't need us anymore, man, that's amazing. As long as I still have a job, I'm okay with that. And that's really the goal, right? It's that next level of experience or that we can give, so that we have the best quality of life going forward. And I think that sometimes we kind of forget about that, but that's really the end goal.
Hey, Jesse, hearing everything you've said, it sounds like a very positive experience for you, and I'm so tickled to hear that. When it comes to your return on investment, are you seeing what you were expecting to see? Is it gone above and beyond your initial expectations?
Yeah, I mean, we always kind of go back and forth, and we talked about it. We talked about price, how much is the cost, and all that kind of fun stuff. And to me, it really wasn't about price so much, right? It's about, like I said, I want to sleep better, and I want that better quality of life. And this product gives me that better quality of life, and not just for me, but for my entire team, right? And do we get that better experience? And that's it. This really provides me that I get that better night's sleep. My head does not pop off the pillow. I mean, unless I forget to send my TO an email that I was supposed to. I really do get that better experience, better quality of life from this, product, given that I do what's required of me. And hopefully that, for everybody else in my institution. And the other part I like to give on that is the dev team for Neurons. I've been so engaging at making this better. And I think that's really the other part of that. They have done such a fantastic job saying, what do I need to do to make this be the best it can be to meet your needs? And that's those two things together. It's not about price. It's about, to me, or the return. The return, that's the return right there. I've now become a part of this product, and Ivanti here has become part of my team through this product.
So Jesse, you've been talking about how the product has impacted your team, and it sounds like you're not missing any soccer games now. You're sleeping better at night. But what about your end user customers? Have you noticed increase in satisfaction from them? You get an anecdotal compliment. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the little things. Like they don't even know. Like sometimes, like, oh, you already took care of that, or that happened. Little ways to kind of take care of work in the background without them knowing things are happening. Ways to kind of minimize, and we're in a banking world, right? So the one way to really upset somebody is to mess with their money. And so our job in a high stressful time right now is to help ease that impact in the community and at the community bank. And so our customers, our employees, they're working so hard to make that happen. We are trying to support them in that way to make that happen. Right now, we've seen them say, hey, we need this. And it's like, okay, great. We have now this tool that does it, works with EPM and ISM to make this happen. I'm like, wow, okay, this already happened. Or if something crazy happens, and even though I've got a branch with 3 or 4 net connections that's still suffering, let me still make sure we have a way to meet these needs. And to them, it's amazing that for even in work from home, we're able to get some stuff done and have that positive experience for them. And like I said, without having to interrupt that work experience. So, and that's, like I said, that's the biggest thing. It's not costing them or interrupt that customer experience that they're having, trying to be that like an imaginary support for them to hold that up to help improve somebody's day.
Well, Jesse, it sounds to me like neurons have helped out your life quite a bit so far, and I'm sure that you still have a lot more that you're planning on rolling out with neurons. And have you really gone down the road of the self-healing aspect of that very deeply yet, or thought about that yet?
Yeah, so self-healing is it's something that you hear it and you start to kind of, you have that giant question mark go off in your head and you're like, okay, what exactly does that mean? And so you kind of go through and they have these tons of out of the box stuff built out. And so you go through and like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. So I do some of the basic things that I have out there are little things like making sure, like I have services that restart, that I have the machine gets cleaned up before I see login times that get longer, profiles that get out of control, and you have basic things that making sure devices stay encrypted, battery health, and all sorts of stuff you can do, and so you just track that, and then just like I said, you can use a lot of the basic stuff they have, and then you can start expounding upon that and make your own, and just make sure that they have the best experience possible. I was just talking to one of my, my other side that works at another branch and said, hey, no, we haven't actually had to do a replacement for one of these machines in a long time. And it's been that I forgot to know how to do something because we haven't had to do this in a while. And it's really good because you kind of just set all these triggers that say, hey, look for all these things. And if this happens, let me know and just go ahead and fix it. And like I said, it's different for every company because they're going to have their different things they're going to look for. And I'm sure a company that does some manufacturing is going to have some certain stuff that they're going to look for, but you can do all sorts of fun stuff through the discovery, whether you are leveraging an EPM agent or not to do certain things like push out an agent if it's there or not there, and just get going. And like I said, you can kind of nerd out and get excited about some of that stuff, which can be kind of dorky. I get it. But make sure you really, what's out there. And especially in a time right now where you're pushing out tons of equipment, or you may have a lot of temp fires, whatever, just get in front of it and just say, hey, you see something that doesn't have an agent, go out there and go put it out there. From there, go ahead and run an inventory scan, even if it hasn't seen it right away. Go ahead and, just go ahead and keep everything, get the hygiene going that you want to stay in front of. And then you can kick off all these custom notifications, and it's really good because you can take somebody also on your team that may have very minimal knowledge of any of the Ivanti products, and really just jump them right in and say, okay, you don't have to scroll through log after log after log and say, how do I do this? Or bring them into something. Say, hey, no, it's okay. You're right here. When this happens, you know exactly it's basic, help desk support at that point, and they know how to handle something. And it takes kind of the fear out of jumping into a new product right out of the way. And it's, like I said, it's kind of them being an agnostic cog that everybody connects into. And they've made it really awesome because EPM has been really amazing. And the whole UEM engine is one side, the ISM engine over here, and they kind of flow back and forth. And there's this underlying automation fabric underneath. But now there's this, you put the neurons cog on top and you kind of connect between the two. And that seems to be this direction we're headed in. And you all the information go into neurons. Everything just kind of like mushed in together, and you get this cool bit of actionable intel, and you're saying, okay, everything goes right here. And then I know exactly what I need to do. And I'm going to focus right on here. And then if I get a help desk or before I see something I know it's right here, because all these engines that are working together and focusing on this stuff, that's it right there. Why? Because this guy told me so, and it came in through here, and it's going to either spit back out here or go in here to fix it, and it's going to go, and we're all talking and we're working together. And it makes it so simple, because now I'm not going to 5 different places to do something either. I'm going to one place, and then I'm not asking the customer to do anything, and they don't need to worry about anything. And it's now simple. So it does make it to where it's like to me, I think it's just that no-brainer of where you want to do something. I know people probably have 500 million questions about it, but to me, it's that thing of find who your rep is, or ask Brenda, say, hey, I want a demo, or just get me a trial. Ask Kyle to say, hey, give me the demo on my trial. To me, it's that simple.
Well, Jesse, I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are, and you've really taken a great chunk of your day to spend with us today to describe your experience with neurons and the incredible things it's been able to help you and the SouthStar Bank team plow through your normal IT work days and make things a little simpler. That's appreciated. And audience, everything that Jesse talked about today, we covered in the previous 2 presentations. He talked about the self-healing, he's talked about the discovery, he's talked about the integrations and different automations that come with it. And of course, these are all things that we covered in part 1 and part 2. And it's good to see that, everything that our folks talked about in part 1 and part 2, it's great to hear it in action. And I think, Jesse, you did a great job describing that and how beneficial it is for your organization. So I really appreciate that. And it goes a long way, probably helping other people feel better about taking a look at it and potentially decreasing their workload and enabling them to sleep better at night, knowing that things are going to be handled. So thank you.
Yeah, and we have an
Rich, before Jesse.
I would say on Insiders, Ivanti Insiders, if you're not in there, you should jump in there as well. But we have a thread on Insiders where we have not just myself, so you're going to take my word for it, people that are using it and showing off how they're using it as well. I kind of wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah. And Brenda, go ahead.
I was going to say, before we take off today, speaking of nerding out, Jesse, what's that cup you're drinking out of? The coffee cup.
This is my Star Wars.
Yes.
It's my Stormtrooper.
That's good. Good stuff. Very good. Well, thank each of you again for taking time out for us today. And audience, everything that has been said, I can't possibly say another thing. Jesse said it all. So with that being said, if you have any questions or you want to take a look at neurons or speak with us about it, reach out to us, 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. Chat with us online. Our guys are standing by for you Monday through Friday during normal business hours. They are there for you. Or you can email us at info@flycastpartners.com. We have a great team here. They'd love to help you out, love to help get you the answers. And even if you just want to check it out and see if it could be beneficial for you, that's fine too. Maybe a trial. With that being said, I want to thank all of those of you that attended today's presentation, and Jesse especially, Jesse and Brenda and Kyle and Bobby for joining us today. You all have a great day now.
Pleasure.
You too. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse,
Thank
very
you.
much.